The Matadors love its newest Texas Tech store, offering the official Wreck-'em Tech shirt of the Saddle Tramps. Together, the Matador and the Saddle Tramps are ready to gear you up for Texas Tech football. Buy your Wreck-'em Tech shirt at the Matador for only $15 and feel proud that you are supporting the Saddle Tramps and Texas Tech. Start a new tradition. Stop at the corner and shop the Matador, or shop online at shopthematador.com.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Matador Express. I'm Everett.
And I'm Jeremy Krakosky.
We've got a big episode this week as all three fall sports teams will kick off play in the Big 12 Conference this weekend. The first team to kick off their Big 12 Conference, their quest for the championship, is the volleyball team. They're going to play Texas Christian tonight at 6 p.m. in the United Supermarkets Arena. With the best start for the volleyball program since 1997, senior libero Rachel Boromit said that the team is super excited to get Big 12 play underway, and she thinks that they can really carry their momentum from their 12-0 start into the conference and keep going strong.
Tech is currently tied with Texas as the only two teams in the Big 12 without a loss yet. Do you think the volleyball team is really good this year, or are they just playing weaker competition?
Man, I don't know. It's been hard to tell. They've hosted a couple. These past two tournaments, they've hosted some tougher teams like Air Force and Texas State and Abilene Christian even. After those first couple weeks, it was kind of false hope, I thought. But now that they've kept strong, they fought back from some 2-0 deficits and ended up winning those games. And I think it's really possible that they're gonna go into conference strong this year. I'm not sure they're gonna be able to beat the tougher teams like the Texas or the Oklahomas of the conference, but at least with their 12-0 start, that since they've done so well in non-conference, maybe they can at least end up with a above 500 record for this year. Davis Webb and the Texas Tech football team will be the next team to kick off conference play when they take on Oklahoma State this Thursday night. Jeremy, how do you think the Red Raiders are going to fare this week in Stillwater? It's been a long time since Tech's won down there. Since 2001, I think, was the last time they beat the Cowboys down in Stillwater.
Yeah, Cliff was the quarterback back then. Obviously, the defense was exposed in the last game against Arkansas. Now Tech enters with a new defensive coordinator. Apparently, Mike Smith, the players have said that his game plan is a lot less technical, so hopefully the defense will be just playing more on instinct instead of always looking to the sideline and overthinking it. OSU's defense is a pretty young like Tech's. They don't have a lot of returning starters, so hopefully Davis Webb can find his stride against them and the running backs can keep helping them out some. And OSU's offense, their starting quarterback is out for the season, but their backup is filled in pretty good for them and has pretty good stats so far, so you can't take him lightly.
You think, I know last year when OSU came to town, they by the time they got here, Tech's run defense got to been exposed, and they ran all over Tech and put up nearly 400 yards of rushing. Do you think that's going to be the same thing this year? Or do you think the defense will step up with this new defensive coordinator?
I mean, I definitely think they're going to run for a lot of yards, but hopefully it's not as bad as against Arkansas with just a new coordinator. Hopefully they bring more energy and able to limit the run a little bit.
Overall, how do you think Tech's going to fare in the Big 12 Conference this year? What do you think their final record's going to be?
I think Tech is going to end up 8-4 and go 7-3 in conference. A pretty solid year despite the slow start.
So you got losses. Top two teams right now are OU and Baylor in the Big 12. Who else do you have them losing to?
And I think they're going to lose by about a touchdown, maybe 10 points this Thursday to Oklahoma State.
Okay, so you think they're going to beat Kansas State?
I do.
All right, Kansas State, they've looked pretty good this season. They did lose against Auburn this week. That game's on the road, right? You think they're going to be able to go to Manhattan and win?
I think that's going to be Tech's big upset this season. They're going to pull that one off on the road.
All right. West Virginia's been a kind of surprising team in the Big 12 this year. They've played tough against Florida State. They played hard against OU, only lost that game by about 10 points. How do you think the Mountaineers are going to end up in this conference?
I do think West Virginia's improved this year, but I still don't think they're going to take that next step and really move up in the rankings. I have them still going 5-7 this year and losing to Tech, Baylor, Oklahoma State, and TCU, and they already have 2 losses this season.
What about big game on especially Tech student schedule? Tech's going to take on Texas at home this year. Do you think Tech's got a chance to win that game? It's been since 2008 since the Red Raiders won against UT, that big game where Michael Crabtree had that catch. Do you think Tech can finally beat him again?
I think Tech is going to pull off the win in Lubbock this year. I have Texas just winning 5 games this year, so I think Tech can do it this
You don't
year.
think they're going to make a bowl this
No.
year? All right. Last but not least, on the college football front, this is the first year for the college football playoff at the end of the season. Instead of doing one national championship bowl game that's picked by the BCS, there's a committee of people that will kind of vote in 4 teams that will play in a playoff. Who do you think is going to be in that playoff this year?
I think Oklahoma's going to go undefeated, win the Big 12, and I think they'll be a lock for the college football playoff. And then last year's national championship champion Florida State, I think will definitely be in there. And then Oregon, I think, probably go undefeated, maybe 1 loss, but still win their conference. And then for the last team, I think you have to have an SEC team, and I think ultimately Georgia's going to win the SEC against Auburn, and they'll be the 4th team in.
So even though Georgia's got that 1 loss against South Carolina this year, you think they're going to pull back and make it to the SEC championship?
Yeah, I think they'll still win their division, win out the rest of the season, and then I think Auburn will be in there in the conference championship, and they'll beat Auburn.
What do you think about Baylor? They looked strong last year. They've even been putting up all kinds of points with Bryce Petty being kind of in and out and a few of their top receivers being in and out. You think OU is going to take down Baylor and be Big 12 champions?
Yeah, I think Baylor will definitely be tough competition for OU along with Tech, but since the game is in Norman, I just don't think Baylor can pull off that game.
All right, cool. Well, the last fall sport that'll kick off Big 12 competition is the soccer team. They're going to Austin this weekend to take on the Longhorns. They've got a 9-0 record this season, and they've had several different players win a bunch of national awards. ESPN women's site named Janine Becky the top women's player of the week last weekend, and their goalkeeper Lauren Douglas has won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week in back-to-back weeks now.
Yeah, like you said, they've won their first 9 games and still undefeated, which has caused them to earn their highest national ranking in school history.
And that wraps up this week's episode of Matador Express. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.